So effectively, this is a very short session also in storytelling, right? So, is your audience a very educated audience, right? For example, out here, are you presenting it to the chief executive officer of a company? Or are you presenting it to the general public, right? That's the question you need to bifurcate, is whether your audience is educated in the topic that you're going to discuss, or is it a layman in the topic they want to discuss, right? Is your audience the user of the product, or is your audience the maker of the product, or is it a b2b client, or is it a b2c client? And that's going to make a hell of a difference when you actually decide what you want to present. Okay, so for example, I've given you an example out here, straightforward. This is a DSP BlackRock alternative investment hedge fund presentation, which I found it very interesting because me myself, being in alternative investment for quite some time, had made the same mistake of making the presentation much more complicated than what it actually deserves, right? So for example, this is the DSP BlackRock presentation, and it directly talks about what exactly does the alternative investment do, right? And the same thing, the same mistake, which they have actually done it very pretty well, is the mistake that I did while presenting my product to customers. So it directly talks about why consider a long short fund, right? And it clearly gives you a very, very simple understanding. But be aware that the person who's actually looking at this presentation is not, of course, a normal retail investor. So he does understand what is alpha. Imagine a presentation in which you're going and saying that, okay, we're going to talk about alpha, but the audience does not even have a fixed deposit account, or probably he's a mutual fund investor. He won't understand what is an alpha, right? And probably he's not even the right customer. But let's say an institutional investor with a family office sitting there would obviously understand what is alpha, and for them, it this makes more sense, right? So if you can see here, this is the long fund which says that, okay, we can make returns only when the prices go up, but in case if you invest with us, we can also make money when things are going down, and also super impose the returns by taking some leverage, basically borrowed funds, and also whatever the long fund is already generating, that will replicate. So that's a beautiful presentation, right? So spend some time on deciding who your audience is.